SvnTwnty Fam, what's good? It's your man Autumn.
And I'm your boy Draven.
And this is the SvnTwnty Podcast, a space where all men, being men and women, can be vulnerable.
That's right, that's right. If you haven't already, please take a moment to like, comment, and subscribe. For those of you here for the first time, we thank you and welcome. For those of y'all already a part of the SvnTwnty Fam, what's going on? Welcome back. If this message has the potential to impact somebody's life, take a moment to just share that with them. Last but not least, send it to your mama, send it to your friend. Come back next week and let's do what? That's when you were. Let's do it again. Let's do it again. Let's do it again.
Boy, I don't know your.
Well, we're supposed. You know what I'm saying? You feed off me, I feed off you. You know.
But you say a lot, brother.
We still need work.
Pastor Henderson.
Yeah. I want to just be able to say, you know what I'm saying? Like last night I ate, and then I went to the bathroom at
3 o'clock.
I need you to be speedy.
I got home at 4 o'clock. I only had like 4 hours of sleep.
Let's tell them where you were last night.
Nah, we ain't gonna do that.
Who told you to go outside?
Well, okay, we're gonna tell them. I was with your parents. You want me to keep going?
You didn't have to say that. Their reputation is damaged.
I'm dead.
No, man.
Yo. But bro.
I mean, so are you gonna tell them or shit?
I want to know now too.
No, I'm just playing.
You really gonna do that?
No,
okay, what's up? Remember, y'all, I told y'all that I would never step. Don't fix your face.
Okay.
I told them that I would never step foot again in a strip club. But last night, y'all, I went out with some friends. My other best friend. It might be my real best friend. My real best friend, y'all.
Yo.
It was her man's birthday, so he wanted to go to the strip club. So we went down to Magic. You know what I mean? It was a good time. It was a good time. You just mad because you wasn't with me.
I'm dead.
That's the truth. But the gag is, I was with his whole family. You see, he ain't got nothing to say. You feel me? So
I can edit that part out.
Don't.
Okay.
I hope you don't edit it. I'm gonna edit this episode.
Okay. All right.
But nah, y'all. So welcome back, SvnTwnty Fam. We are glad and we are blessed to be here. Today we got a special guest in the building.
A very special guest in the building.
Exactly.
Yo, and I also want to point out.
What's up?
We actually make history today, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because this is the first female guest we've ever had on the show.
Represent.
Clap it up, clap it up, clap it up, clap it up, clap it up. Clap, 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 clap.
Clap it up.
Clap it up, clap it up, clap it up.
Clap, 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 clap. Oh, sorry.
I can't stand y'all.
I'm still at the strip club. But
Hands weren't the only thing clapping.
Y'all do remember it's Sunday, right?
Nobody had to know that. Nobody had to know that.
That's all right. I mean, but the episode drops on Tuesday.
See, that part. But nah, y'all. We are blessed and we are thankful that we have our first female guest today.
Absolutely.
We have Kim in the building, okay?
Woo.
She is a jack of all trades,
Applause.
a designer. She's in school. She's a nanny. She is a wonderful person.
That's right.
And we're glad that she's here. What's up, Kim? Say hi to the SvnTwnty Fam.
I don't
She's
know,
a little
that's
shy,
super
y'all.
shy.
We're going to give her
Super
some
shy.
time.
That's all right.
We're going to give her some time.
She's definitely a Jill of all trades. Kim is actually one of the people that has continuously supported us from the very jump. I'm talking about first episode that dropped, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you know, like on it and, you know, has watched every episode, commented on every episode, reposted this, that, and the third ever since. And, you know, for those of you that are doing it, in addition to Kim, we do appreciate you. We notice. And, man, like that shit means something, bro.
But okay, so in reference to the podcast and the support, I just feel like you guys have really great content. And like I just understand that even though everything y'all say resonates with me, I just feel like there's always a message that somebody else can hear. Period. At the end of the day.
For
like
sure.
we share, I mean I say this all the time.
For sure.
We share all kinds of content
That's right.
on our pages. And like some of that content does more harm than good, but everything y'all put out is like so good.
Man, we appreciate that. You know,
So-
and like it's I don't know, man. Like it's difficult for me to even accept compliments like that. You know what I mean? And I even told you because it's just like damn, like me? You know what I mean? Like my imperfect self.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Is putting out stuff like that, but you know, that's something that you and I have like wrestled with, right?
Yeah.
Because we know that the content that we put out isn't necessarily popular.
Right.
It's not clickbait. So it's just like, how can we make a topic or, you know, or whatever the case may be that's not sought after or popular mainstream?
Right.
So, you know, that's the trial and error.
But what's so cool about the internet now is like, especially because I just switched my major to marketing.
That's awesome.
So I've been learning a lot about social media. I specifically have a social media class, and we're learning about niche and how important niche is and how important micro influencing is.
Right.
So, you know, there's a market for everything.
Wow.
And
Absolutely.
to
We
be
just
honest,
have to continue to believe in it.
For sure.
right. And to be honest, like, I mean, the more people are real is the more it's becoming to like mainstream, I guess.
Right. Yeah.
Like I feel like there's so many creators, like especially with TikTok, like that are just being themselves, like
That's facts. Right.
literally being the most toxic even parts
Yeah.
of themselves, and
Yeah.
it's popular because people
Literally.
are like, damn, like I thought that was just me. No,
Right.
it's like there's
Yeah,
over
yeah. No facts.
400,000 people that feel exactly the way that you feel. So.
That's right.
Exactly.
And
I'm-
y'all have a really good message. So
Thank you. We truly
can come
appreciate
back
that. And I don't
anytime.
want to get preachy. I don't want to get preachy.
Get preachy.
But you know, there's something that Pastor Darius Daniels said that will always stick with me. You know, your greatness lies in your uniqueness, and I think part of us being unique is sticking to what is transparent, what is vulnerable. Like,
Wow.
that's what's unique to Draven and I. You don't meet a lot of black young men who are transparent,
Right.
who might, I don't say we wear our heart on our sleeves, but we're not afraid to be emotional or tell folks how we feel.
That's right.
And that is unique.
Yeah.
Right? And those who don't tap into their uniqueness never get to experience greatness.
Right.
And I feel like everybody can take a little bit,
Yeah.
take that with them.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Regardless
absolutely.
of what it is
Yeah.
that, you know, that you love.
No, and I do agree. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? And you know, like going back to the comment where you said like you don't wear your, or we aren't men that wear our heart on our sleeves.
Yeah.
You know, I would consider myself a person that does do that. You know what I mean? Like, if all it takes for me to be transparent with someone is, I'm about to butcher this word, but relatability. Does that make sense?
Relatability?
Relatability. Is that even a word?
I don't
it is
know.
today.
Right.
It is today. Okay. But y'all get what I'm saying. But you
Right.
know what I'm saying? Like, as soon as I feel like you and I, like, even if we meet for the first time, as soon as I feel like you and I have a, you know, like a connection,
Thank you.
like, you know, like, then I'm like, okay, boom. Okay. Like, all right, well, let me share this piece.
Right.
And then, okay, well, let me share this piece. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't just going to give you everything, you know, up front, but, you know, that's all it takes for me.
And I feel like we could dive deeper into that for sure, because I have some questions for you on that.
Okay, bet.
Hopefully, I can remind myself to come back around that. But some folks may be watching today and they're like, well, who is Kim? You know, who is she to us? Like we said, you know, you've definitely empowered us to keep going. You know, when we wanted to quit, we just look in the comments, there you are. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, just giving that extra
That's right.
support. But I think that some of the viewers may want to know, who is Kim? You know, and I know that's a packed and that's a loaded question, but for those of you who don't know, I met Kim getting my latest job. She don't work there no more because she left me. But I met you at work.
Random
And-
too.
Random.
Because, like, it's weird. Like, so the company is a fairly large company.
Right.
Just to give you guys some context. And they hire in these huge groups.
Yeah.
We happen to be one of the smaller groups. And we were, like, being trained in a very specific manner. So it was, like, different. And honestly, like, I'm the type of person where I will just not reach out to people or not
Yeah.
care to, like, especially with coworkers. Like, I just really don't. I'd rather not. But
We were training virtually, by the way.
Right.
Which throws another wrench
yeah.
into all of this. But
And
That's
literally, like, I mean, people would reach out to me a lot because I had a lot of like resources. Like,
She knew what she was doing, y'all.
Yeah.
She knew, sis knew what she was doing.
But no, I mean, like, yeah, I just ended up
Don't
making like a lot
sugarcoat
of
it.
resources, and like with time, like I would share them with you, and then when we went in person, I was like, "What's up?"
Right.
And then
That's dope.
it would just be like more and more conversations and stuff.
Yeah.
And then
We just really
Yeah.
clicked. Like, we really clicked. I'm not going to say it's a Scorpio thing.
it's a Scorpio.
It's a Scorpio thing? Look, he mad.
No. I love being a Sagittarius. That's his
I
way.
love that for you.
So don't nobody like Sagittarius?
Sounded
No, they're like, eh.
not
Well, you my
Sagittarius.
best friend, so that say something.
I mean, I barely
Says
like you.
something good about
I
you.
mess with Sagittarius.
Like,
They're not the best, but you know, no, I'm just kidding.
Right.
No,
not
I'm
the
just
best.
kidding,
They
just
all right.
kidding.
You know, like every now and again you'll come across a good one.
But no, I mean, I
Yeah.
think that like you are a very like open book kind of person.
Yeah.
And you're very genuine, and it's very visible from the moment that you meet
Wow.
you. I think so.
Wow.
And like when you're that kind of person, I feel like you know when you know. It's a lot of like, I know we talk about this a lot, but just being able to like, you can smell a snake like in moments. Like
Man, what?
I can see people immediately. You know what I mean? But in the same sense,
Maybe drop my breakfast sandwich.
My breakfast sandwich.
but like in the same sense, we're able to recognize people like us.
That's facts.
Right.
That's facts.
You know when you click with somebody, you know when you're like, okay, I want to dig in a little bit. See what's
That's
up.
right. That's right.
So I feel like that's what it was. Like I was like, I think like we maybe had lunch times in the same times, like
Right.
a couple times. And so I was like, oh, I'm going to pick the brain a little bit more. And then,
Yeah.
you know, you've revealed time and time again, like I'm always constantly like, bro, what can you do?
Right.
Yeah.
Literally all the time.
But it's the same thing for you. Like I said, you're a designer, you know what I'm saying? Can we shout out the big project you
Yeah.
got coming up? Shout out to Musical. Come on, did I say it correct?
Yeah.
Okay, shout out to Musical. Can you tell everybody a little bit about what that's about?
Yeah, of course. So Musical is the brand that I'm working on right now. It's interestingly enough, and I'm glad that we are talking about this, is because it started off as something completely different, but very related to what you guys are doing now.
Okay.
So before Musical was Musical, it was Streetwear is Black. And during the pandemic, I'm sure a lot of people were feeling what I was feeling, which is, you know, this intense rage for,
Don't be afraid to say nothing on this show, girl. Let it out.
I
ain't
guess
gotta
just
sugarcoat.
You know, teeter-totter,
intense
yeah.
rage for, you know, white people.
Yeah.
And just whiteness in general. And I really felt like things like social media picking up and watching all these creators get their art and their culture and their ideas taken by other
Oh wow.
creators because they were
Wow,
white. So
wow.
like Streetwear is Black was born from saying streetwear is black.
Yeah.
Right.
It came from black people.
love
And
that.
you know, I kind of have this beef with, you know, feeling like some things should be gatekeeped. I'm always going to stand by that. But Streetwear is Black was obviously streetwear, but it was more born into the sense of, or into the idea of wanting to give back to the community. And what I wanted to do with that brand was expand past just clothing, but just having, I was an accounting major at the time. So a large part of why I went to school for accounting was because I wanted to teach black men to build businesses from scratch,
So
from
dope.
little money. I
So
wanted
dope.
to, and I still have plans. I've been
So dope.
actually like working on
need
that
that.
too. That's what my channel is going to be built on. But
Yeah.
I feel like a lot can be done in rebranding, rebuilding,
Right.
empowering black
So
men.
dope. So dope.
We need that.
I think it's important.
Yeah.
It
I
is.
think that the power that you guys hold as men and in the black community can just go a long way for everyone. And so that's what that came from. And so, you know, Muse Cult will still have the same concept, but Muse Cult is just a little bit more about togetherness and creativity. And I think that sometimes we get too tied up in individuality or individualism, and that's just a byproduct of capitalism, unfortunately. But
Whew.
You talking
having
that
the
talk.
bigger
Talking, bro. She
I'm over here
talking.
like,
having a
damn.
bigger understanding of the fact that it's okay for you to be inspired by other things.
Wow.
Yeah.
And for us to inspire each other. Understand, like, when you move, everything that you do, somebody's watching you and somebody's inspired by that.
Wow.
Right.
So being more intentional about that and being understanding that togetherness is more,
Right.
being like helping each other. We're stronger together as
Wow.
people.
Wow.
So I love the streetwear is black, right? How did it transition to musical?
I think that the biggest transition came from, streetwear is black. I think it's a stronger concept than more people can digest.
Okay.
And
Can I put a vote in for streetwear is black though?
I think that streetwear is black will still live.
Yeah.
I think
Okay.
that I'll still bring it back.
Okay.
I'm gonna operate mostly under musical, and musical will have different lines. Like I already have.
Ooh.
For sure.
So it's like an
gonna be
umbrella for- For sure.
exactly.
I'm
So,
tracking.
I still think that streetwear is black will live because it's a little bit more edgier than what musical is. I mean, you've
Right.
seen some of my designs, so I think it'll be a lot stronger.
Okay.
I don't know why, but it's not calling me at this exact moment.
Wow.
But I think that that idea was born for a reason.
Absolutely.
It's so funny you say that because, the 720 podcast was literally like probably second or third to the last of our most recent, additions to
Right.
our brand.
It was never supposed to be a podcast.
It was never supposed to be a
Oh.
podcast.
We never went into this like
Yeah.
we never planned to do a podcast.
Ever. It was always
Yeah.
supposed to be in the fashion realm, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, right? But it was it Articles of Transparency first?
No, it was something. It was AOT.
It Articles of Transparency, fool.
But I don't
I
think
love
that
that.
we used the whole. I don't think we used.
Well, that
the
was
whole-
just the,
Okay.
I mean, like,
yeah.
it was just abbreviated.
Yeah. You're right then.
But
You're right.
anywho,
Yep.
Man, it's so funny. Like, we got a T-shirt and we got a hoodie.
Yep.
We got a sample and like, we were just like, I don't know. But like, we like sat and played with the idea of it. I mean, like, we always came up with designs and we always had these meetings and, we kept buying samples and this, that, and the third. But, like, in the moment, like, it was like, okay, like, yeah, I love fashion or whatever, but we just weren't absolutely, I don't know, crazy about it.
Right.
Right? We love the idea of it.
Yeah.
And my man just hit me randomly one day. Draven, I got an idea. I'm like, what? He's like, what do you think about us starting a podcast? I probably sat in silence for about
A day. Because let me tell you this. Let me tell you-
not a day.
A day. Let me tell you why though, because Articles of Transparency was just the first.
Literally.
we created the pop collection. We have like a
Which I
whole.
love that idea.
Yeah.
We
Articles of-
have a-
like that sounds
Yes.
fire.
Listen, we have
Listen.
a whole brand with just AOT, but we have several other brands as well that we were working on before we even brought the podcast up. And then I don't know, I was getting closer to God. I was talking, and I was just like, well, we have a full-on empire here,
Yeah.
right? And I'm just like, well, what can we do to make this, to give our empire a strong foundation, right? Like, how can we build a strong foundation for this, for AOT? How can
Yeah.
we, you know what I'm saying, for everything that we had planned to do? And I don't know, I was talking with God, and he was just like, podcast. Literally. And I know that sounds crazy to some non-believers, no disrespect, but literally it was that clear for me. Podcast. Like, just podcast. Like, the conversations that you and Draven have, other people need to be a part of. They
Wow.
need to hear it. You can
Wow.
be saving lives. You can be,
For
you know
sure.
what I'm saying? You can change the trajectory of
Yeah.
someone's life just by them hearing our conversation. But
Yeah.
not to get too far into
Yeah.
it, but
But he kicked that to me.
Yep.
And finally, like, although I was unsure, I still said yes. Right? I was just, like, what the hell do I have to lose? Right? So it was in the podcast. And then, at this point, we're like, 16, 17 episodes in, maybe 15, 16 at this point. And, you know, like, although we've made, you know, all this progress and, you know, this, that, and the third, like, I was like, bro, like, like God gave you this vision, right? Like, I just, like, I don't know if it was meant for me to be here. You know what I mean? And then last week, or maybe 2 weeks ago, this, my lady, she was like, hey, can you bring me Starbucks? I'll pay. So I drive up to Starbucks. I sit in line. The line was long. I'm a very impatient person, so I'm just like, all right, screw it. I'm going to go inside. So I walk inside, and I start ordering, right? And it was this white lady. She was like probably like late 30s. And, you know, I just started ordering. And she was like, I don't know why I'm saying this, but you need to have a podcast or be on a radio show. I said, what? She was like, your voice is, you know, I forgot the word she used or whatever, but she was like, you literally have the voice. Like you really need to do this. And like, you know, like throughout all this time, you know, I have been praying like, God, show me something. 'Cause you don't talk to me how you talk to Autumn. You know what I mean? Like I want it to be like a freaking crazy, like, God, I don't want to doubt that this is you talking to me.
Right.
And prior to that encounter, I had watched some on YouTube where this dude, Instagram, this dude was praying and was like, you know, God, like, you know, show these people signs through other people, through, you know, signs, through this, through that, you know, just giving several examples. And, you know, a day or two later, I then had that experience. After that, like, I was just like, all right, God, heard you. Loud and clear. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then it's funny because I thought back, we met at Banana Republic years ago. I was in college.
Random.
And, well, not randomly. It was definitely
No, we was both working there.
God's work, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
And then, like I said, I was in college. I was probably
Never
like a
would've
freshman or sophomore in college at this point. I'm ringing this lady up. And I just started speaking. She said, wow, you have such a nice voice. And I was just like, thank you. Right, but I'm just thinking about that, and I'm like, damn, God was like
Full
really
circle, yeah.
speaking, you know.
He's been talking
and
to
I'm
you.
like, wow.
But you so hung up on, you were so hung up, or for lack of better words, you were immature in your listening and hearing and seeing of his word, or of him speaking to you.
Like you told me, because
you
I
didn't
wanted God to speak to me how I wanted
you
to
wanted.
receive
Right.
it. You know what I mean?
He knows how to talk to you.
Come on.
But you were so caught up on him not showing up
Yeah.
the way you envisioned that you missed it. All those times that he was already speaking to you.
Yeah.
But you're here now.
Now I am.
That's all that
Now I am.
matters, bro.
Now I am.
That's all that matters.
And it's a great podcast.
Thank you
I'm
so
gonna
much.
keep complimenting you guys this whole time.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you. We
And
truly
when you
appreciate it.
drop Muse Cult, you know, we definitely would
For
love.
sure.
Come on.
We gonna
We're
support
put
all
our
that.
order in.
I swear the Dickies jackets are just for
I need
you.
that. I need that. I need the whole set. The whole set.
Well, I mean, I can't fit his clothes, so like, I'm gonna just need you to make, you know,
No, I'm
a
definitely
couple
gonna
items and
make you guys,
everything.
like,
No,
a little-
definitely.
We need that whole set. But yeah, bro.
But AOT sounds fire. I have to say this. That just sounds fire. And it's so funny because every time like I watch the podcast and like your like moment of transparency,
Oh, that's my
I'm like, you
tagline.
guys need to put like a little thing on the screen where it's like moment of transparency.
Moment of
Because he's
transparency.
always saying that.
Saying it, yeah.
That is his
but
tagline.
The
That's
fact
my
that it's
tagline.
called AOT like is
Yeah.
so. I think
We
it's
came up
dope.
with that like because he was training me at the time. We just came up with it at the gym. I think I was on a treadmill, and I'm like,
wow.
bro,
We really
articles of
did.
transparency. You know, he was like, oh, and we running around the gym. Oh, you know what I mean? So, I mean, like we always just have moments like that. But it's just like, you know, I think a lot of these things, especially the fashion realm, the names, whatever. I feel like for us, a lot of this stuff comes so prematurely,
Right.
and then it takes experience, and we live life, and it's like, oh,
It all comes together.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It
I
comes
think that's
around
the
full
thing
circle.
about
Yeah.
creativity too, and just like having, you know, a passion for fashion.
That's right.
You know what I
Right.
mean? Or, you know, a passion for anything creative. It's like the ideas just get thrown into your
For sure,
mind.
for sure.
I was like, I don't know if it was like a podcast or something that like I was watching, but like basically it's like ideas come to you for reasons,
Yeah.
and like you should be writing down every single idea you have
Mm.
because like at a moment it's just gone and you don't get it back.
Mm.
But it's like, as a creative, you're constantly thinking things up.
Exactly.
And they might not always flow.
Exactly.
But it's like, if you bookmark it,
Right.
and now I have like, I mean, I have notes that I share with friends. Like, I love that Apple does that.
Yeah.
And we just each just contribute different things to each other's businesses.
That's
Yeah.
dope.
Yeah.
So,
And it's funny you say that.
because
you know,
it all does flow
yeah.
together eventually.
Yeah.
eventually, you know, full circle, like you said earlier, right? Because it's like, you know, like, so, moment of transparency.
Here we go.
I am in this phase or this realm right now, where it's like, you know, I am trying to, I guess, find my purpose in a job title, if that makes sense. And I'll elaborate. So I told him a while back, you know, I think there's like the job that I want, like what I want to do professionally doesn't exist, you know, in the corporate world,
Capitalism.
you know, and
Blame capitalism.
and I think that is the case because God knows if there was a company that provided a job that I want to do, that I've envisioned, then, you know, I'd find comfort there and I'd stay there. Right. And, you know, as of late, you know, like I've been thinking like, man, okay, I went to school for finance. I got my bachelor's degree in finance. I'm in a master's program as we speak, getting my master's degree. I'm getting my MBA, right?
First of all,
And
Right. That's amazing.
you know,
love to see Black excellence.
thank you.
Amazing.
And congrats to you for getting yours as well.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
you know, it's like damn, like I'm doing this to elevate myself professionally, but in truth, I don't even want to work in finance. Right?
I hear you.
So I'm literally accepting the fact that God has not called me to do one thing, and I have to be okay with that. And I look at people like my fiance who went to school for a specific thing and is now working in that specific thing and absolutely loves what she does.
That's a rare occasion.
And that's a
Yeah.
rare
It's
occasion.
a rare occasion.
Right? And there's several other people out there like that because, you know, my buddy Jeremy, who's been on the show, you know, he's a nurse.
Yeah.
You know,
I was
and
about to say
he loves what he does.
Something
Yeah.
special about med.
It like
Yeah.
hits home for him.
Right.
It
Yeah.
hits home from him, right? So like you were saying, right? Full circle. You said that ideas come to us, right? I've always loved music and I've always loved fashion. And, you know, at random moments, I go to sleep and have a dream about like lyrics and like not songs that I've heard, stuff that just comes up in my mind, like while I dream, and I don't write it down. And I'm like, you know, well, I'm not going to do that anyway. You know what I mean? And,
Dream journal.
right. Like
Right.
all these ideas just hit me randomly. Right. But I mean, you know, now that you say write them down or whatever the case may be, I will do that because
That's
number one,
such good advice.
You never get it back.
Right.
I
That's-
swear
that's
you never
right.
get it back.
Yep.
you know, and I'll begin to do that because number one, I've accepted that God's calling on my life isn't traditional.
Come
right?
on.
And if I feel deep down in my mind, body, spirit, and soul that God has called me in music, God has called me in fashion, God has called me in leadership or reaching out back to the community, then that's that.
Right.
And excuse me for being vulgar, but fuck what anybody else thinks.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's my 2 cents.
And to give you another
My
full
boy
circle.
just went off.
I
Clean
know,
off.
right? And to give you another full circle moment too is I thought about that with accounting. I think we've all been ingrained to take like a very traditional way of life.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
do something that's stable and you know, we're watching the world change before our very eyes.
Yeah,
like
literally.
the richest people now didn't go to school at all.
Right.
Like the people in my life that literally my best friend did not go to school, 6 figures
Wow.
easily. You know what I mean?
That's
Wow.
amazing.
The last person I dated, 6 figures, 2
Yeah.
years of college.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's amazing.
So it's like the world is not only changing, but we're ingrained to like go down this traditional path. But
Absolutely.
for me, it came full circle.
Yeah.
I chose accounting because I thought that was going to be stable and I could teach other people and give to other people and make money. I'm always going to live a very like, you know, minimal lifestyle.
Right,
like
right, right, right.
that's just my thing, and all of my money will always goes towards other people. But I would never be able to do that had I not learned accounting.
Wow.
You won't be able to excel in your field if you don't learn the money part of it, the financing part of it.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
It's gonna help you,
Yeah.
regardless of you hating it. Like, I hate
It's
it.
a
I changed to
foundation of
marketing.
business. Right.
Yeah.
Hate it.
Right.
I mean, I hate school in general, but I'm
Wow.
learning so much shit that's gonna help me
Yeah.
Exactly.
when it comes to musical.
I love
Exactly.
that. And I'm in.
Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
And I'm inclined to say this, right? Going back to the whole thing, because so currently I work for a Big Four company, and around the time I was interviewing with this company, I was working at a university here, right? And how the interview played out. So I literally watched the YouTube video the night before on, I don't know, Excel tips or something like that. And literally the next day in that interview, the guy asked me a question about something that I had learned a few hours prior to that interview. I was like, wow,
Intentional.
God ordained this moment, right? But here's the catch. Because God created such a moment for me to get this role within this company, I'm like, there's no way, or no, well, it's God's plan that I'm supposed to be here at this company, and I need to find a title or a role that I need to, you know what I'm saying? Because God created such a moment. But what I just heard the Holy Spirit say to me is that, you know, God can also orchestrate moments outside of your purpose to ultimately get you to your purpose.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like maybe God created that moment for me was just to show me that, Draven, I am God and God all by myself. I can do all things.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
He did that.
And you know, sorry, you know, I just had to share that. But you know, I hope that made sense what I was saying.
No,
Yeah,
it does.
know,
It
it
makes
did.
perfect
but
sense.
yeah,
I
you
think
know, just
something
hit me.
that we also have to keep in mind, though, is that, and some people may not agree with me, but I don't ever feel like we have one purpose,
Come on.
right?
Or
And your purpose
Yeah.
can change. Your purpose can change from season to season. And in that moment, you said, yeah, God created such a big moment for me. I must be here.
Wow.
I have to be here, right? And you planted your feet, right? But what you needed to do there was already done. And it was time to move on to the next thing. He needed to excel you because he needed to show you that that's just a little bit of what he can do,
Wow.
right? You know what I'm saying? Like that was not even the cap.
Yeah.
You feel me?
You
But
are.
we have to keep in mind that our purpose changes. Our purpose never stays the same.
right.
And I feel like it's a dangerous thing to really believe that you only have one purpose. That's so small-minded. God is way bigger than that. Like, how crazy is it that we like, oh, we got one purpose. It's to be a librarian.
Yeah.
Like, it's to
Our
be,
lives
you
would
know what
be
I'm saying?
so lackluster.
Yeah.
It's
all the
so
time.
boring.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
God is so much
Yeah.
more than that, you know?
Out of
But
all you could have said, you said librarian.
I don't know.
No,
There's
no, I'm just
nothing
playing.
wrong with librarians, okay? We
No.
all need to read.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes,
You know.
but yeah, that's just something we need to keep in mind.
Yeah, I think there's a huge
My hands is
benefit to I'm dead.
Okay.
I think there's a huge benefit to, you know, finding gratitude, finding silver linings, but understanding that, you know, am obsessed with Nipsey Hussle. Like
with
Yeah.
what?
Nipsey Hussle.
Oh,
Okay,
Nipsey.
And, like
yeah.
everything that he stood for.
Okay.
The one famous quote, I feel like one of the most famous quotes is, "Find your purpose or you're wasting air." And to me, I interpreted that as not I'm constantly chasing my purpose. It's
Right.
that I'm finding my purpose in right now.
Exactly.
What am I doing right now?
Exactly.
And why am I here? Am I fulfilling the purpose and or am I wasting my literal time? Am
Yeah.
I learning from this? Am I doing something for somebody else?
Yeah,
What's the purpose in your current
Right.
timeline?
right. And I think that goes hand in hand with, you said something earlier about being intentional, right? Everything that we do, we need to be intentional about it, right? When we wake up to brush our teeth, we need to be intentional about that, right? Because
You gonna miss.
yes, you can miss a moment.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Wow.
we need to be intentional in everything that we do. Like, stop going through the motions. Bro, I wasted I'm not going to say I wasted because I've learned so much, but there were so many moments of my life where I just showed up.
Instead of showing up.
Instead of showing up, imagine if I was literally awake and like taking in every moment and, you know, just being intent. I don't mean to get all deep, but I feel like it was maybe like about a month ago, and I was just like, something woke up inside of me, and like everything that I started to do was intentional, right? When we plan and when we
Yeah,
talk about
yeah.
720, like notes galore,
Yes.
I don't care if it's like get paper towels. Like I'm writing it down. Like I'm
Right,
literally
right.
intentional about everything. Grocery shopping.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like everything you can think of. But we have to learn how to be more intentional in the moment, because like Kim said, you can miss something, and I think that goes hand in hand with, you know, your purpose. What is your purpose right now? If you're not awake, if you're not intentional about showing up, how will you know what your purpose is? It's going to miss you.
And then I think, you know, as for me, and maybe there's somebody else that's out there like this, but, you know, don't be so fixated on the future. Don't be so fixated on your purpose that you, like you said, you miss what's right in front of you.
That was me, bro, for so long, so many years.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, I think I'm actually getting out of that now, because going back to the whole, you know, where I am working now, you know, maybe that moment wasn't even for me. God knew that I was going to be expecting a son, so he blessed me with an increase. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, you know,
Period.
and then, you know, what we have to realize is that we have to stop being so selfish in this sense, that, you know, anything that God ordains for you, what if it really isn't for you?
Period.
I say that all the time.
You know what I mean? So
What our experiences, our lives are not about us, bro. It's not about Kim. What Kim goes through don't got nothing to do with Kim. Me and Kim talked about that.
Come on.
Right?
Yeah.
What Draven goes through, it don't got nothing to do with you. Right? It's so you can, like you said, we're being too selfish. It's something that you said I wanted to circle back to. You said you were talking about finances, and you said that, you know, you give your money to others. Can you elaborate on that? Because did I hear that correctly?
Yeah. So, okay, so I definitely want to say this is a great segue into the stepping out of the matrix thing.
Come on.
Like this is the whole thing is you need to be able to step out of
Yourself.
your own point of view,
Wow.
yourself. You need to understand that not everything you do is for you.
for sure,
Right.
Not everything has to benefit you constantly.
for sure.
If you can find the benefit in it, congratulations, you won.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just feel like it's just money.
Yeah. So like,
It's-
do you like donate to like, do you give to family members, friends, or like, do you have like a special cause that you give to, or you just
I
like?
mean, no, not necessarily. It's just about like support and, you know, constantly pouring into other people. I feel
Yeah.
like if I can live the most minimal life and still
Yeah.
do my best by others,
Yeah.
I'm so
definitely-
mind blown by that.
I definitely
That is
wanna do that.
amazing. Like, I don't know if I could. I'm sorry, bro. I didn't
Yeah,
mean
no,
to
no,
say-
no,
I
all
don't
good.
know if I. I'm in such in a habit of doing things for me and my family that I don't make enough space to give to others. I don't think, like financially, right? Because like I'm not in a great financial place. You feel what I'm saying? Like I'm not bad off by any means, right? But would I like to be better? Yes, we all would. However, like I'm not like I don't have like several thousands in savings or anything like that, right?
Yeah.
So like I'm not like out here like someone is like, oh man, I don't know how I'm gonna pay my light bill, or that I know, and I'm just like here. Like I would like to, but like what if I need something? Like I'm my backup. You feel me? Like
Yeah. I
don't live a minimalistic life enough to do that. But you really inspired me with what you're saying, like how you live, and I commend you. That's beautiful. That's amazing. And I'm just thinking, like, if we were to all take a little bit of piece of that, right?
yeah.
How much
Yeah.
better off would the next person be?
Absolutely.
Like, it'll be a trifecta.
Yeah.
That's so beautiful.
So what's crazy is, you know, I've done this like indirectly for
Yeah.
most of my life, like just without
No, you-
planning. But I was watching Jay Shetty's podcast, right? Yeah, I know. Shout out to
Come on.
period. You know, I'm gonna be on his podcast one day.
Come on now.
Come on, say that. Say that.
But
It's
I was
already
watching
done.
his podcast and he had Trevor Noah on there.
Oh, yeah,
Trevor
I like
Noah.
Trevor Noah.
Yeah, I
And
know
so,
Trevor.
you know, on his podcast at the end, he has like 5 questions he asks or whatever. And he asked him, what is one universal law if you could create? And his answer was, at any given time, 10% of the population you will have to trade your bank account with the poorest person in the country.
Oh my God.
And that for me was like
Wow.
insane. Because like we don't think about it. Like, there's so many people who like pass homeless people on the street. Like, my mom is like really good about this. Like, she doesn't do this, but she's really good about acknowledging this.
Right.
Like, we pass homeless people on the street and we'll be like, well, not me though, but you'll be like, oh, it's their own fault.
That's so easy.
You know what I mean? It's their, you know, it's their privilege. They can do something about themselves. They can do, but it's like, you don't know.
Right.
You don't know what people are going through. You go through stuff yourself, and your own friends don't know.
Wow.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Or you don't share. You don't ask for help. Like, you know what I mean? It only takes like, you know, 6 months of you really just going through that and not asking for help for you to end up the same way that they are.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So it's like, I mean, probably even less time. So it's just kind of like, what good are we really doing?
Right.
You know what I mean? I told you this, I think the last time we worked out together is I've been really looking into Islam.
Yes.
And their way of living, and I'm just very interested in just giving back. I think it's important. I told you, like, I like to carry around extra stuff all the time.
Yeah. Right.
Or like, you know, if I could, like, depending on the day, like, I'll just take my sweater off and.
Yeah, by extra stuff, she means like extra clothes, like stuff like that.
I think
y'all.
that, you know, we have we have so much stuff, and even like, for example, like, I don't know how many pairs of socks y'all got, like, just laying around.
I am a sock fanatic.
You know what
I'm
I mean?
not gonna lie.
But it's like your socks get raggedy and then you stop wearing them, and then what do you do with them? Throw them out. But it's like, you know, that jacket that's from last season.
Yeah.
Just
somebody could utilize that.